the suspended CEO of the Public Procurement Authority is expected to meet the Special Prosecutor Martin Amidu this morning, Thursday, August 29, over his alleged involvement in the contracts for sale scandal. The meeting follows the President's referral of the troubled CEO to the Special Prosecutor after investigative work by award-winning journalist Manasseh Zuriya-Wuni. That particular piece unearthed corruption at Government's Central Procurement Authority. The President has also referred his appointee to the Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice, and will add at both statutory bodies. The President wants Mr. Ajedim Boateng Eje investigated for conflict of interest allegations after he formed a company allegedly that sold government contracts to the highest bidder. Meanwhile, the opposition NDC is demanding the outright dismissal of the suspended PPA CEO, as well as the dissolution of the entire board. Director of Communications Sami Jemfi believes the suspension of the PPA boss is inadequate. He spoke at a news conference Wednesday, August 28 at the party's headquarters.
The President has resorted to his usual face-saving gimmicks by suspending the Chief Executive Officer of the PPA pending investigations by the Special Prosecutor in charge into the matter. But it is the view of the NDC, ladies and gentlemen, that the suspension of Mr. ABAJ, to all intents and purposes, is not deterrent enough. We think that the damning acts of corruption which Mr. ABAJ is captured in the Donkomi documentary as engaging in, including his own admissions and confessions, should have at worst been met with an outright dismissal for other actions to follow. The suspension of the CEO of the PPA, Mr. ABAJ, is totally useless and meaningless until it is linked to the immediate dissolution of the PPA board. We say so because it was the PPA board which, despite knowing that Mr. ABAJ is a shareholder of TDL, went ahead to approve the award of as many as 14 contracts to the company under restricted tender, in flagrant disregard for the public procurement law and in contravention of all acceptable principles of fairness and openness. The PPA board failed woefully in their duty to observe the provisions of the public procurement law and the rules against conflict of interest, but rather aided and abetted the corrupt activities of Mr. ABAJ and his fraudulent TDL. The complicity of the PPA board in this scandal, ladies and gentlemen, is beyond doubt and obvious even to the uninitiated.